Just move it up. Just move it up a little bit behind. How y'all feel? All right. Hey. How y'all feel?
Brother, take you when your son and your daughter sitting up here.
Yeah. Let me first say that I thank and praise God. For those of you all that know me, know I have always said I thank and praise God that we have made it here safely today. Y'all heard that before, right? And then I always say that I pray to God that your return and my return will be equally as safe. I have always said that. I have stopped saying it now. I just say I thank and praise God we're here, because if you haven't heard me, then you'd be led to believe I just started saying that since the 11th of September. And the one thing I do not want to do, and I don't want anything I say tonight to scare you. Fear. Now let's set the rules straight. Michael Jordan and Michael Jackson wouldn't come here. But wherever they go, they can draw 10, 50, 100,000 people, because they spend 18 hours practicing. So they deserve to have people show up. I put my life on the line, and I deserve and demand your respect. Okay? I don't travel with nobody called. I've always been listed in the phone book. I say that to say, I'm not going to talk while you're talking. I come here tonight to tell you some stuff that's going to save your life. I don't need to worry about the information, because I've had the information. And I want to give it to you in a way that it don't scare you. I've always said that drink plenty of water. Y'all know that? Always said that. I've always said do physical exercise, and the best exercise you have is walking. Y'all know that? Walking. I'm going to tell y'all again, if you got to open up that door to talk, then leave the door closed. Okay? This is so again I said exercise. What's the best type of exercise? Walking. Now, don't come to me after it's over talking about, heard what you said, Brother Ray, but I got a bad leg. You know what I mean? Walk bad. Yeah. Huh? Walk the same way you be walking when you be going buying them lottery tickets. I be watching. Because see, anything you inspire to do, you can do. And one day when you all find out who you are, especially black woman, y'all will let a white racist punk thug wimp you down below your God force and wonder how you gonna pay your rent, do this and do that. That's your fault. Because there's a universal God force that put this planet together, and it never came back and changed the rules. Huh? Queen Elizabeth is worth she makes $360 million every 24 hours just interest on her money. But let me tell you something. The same heart that God put in her, God put it in you. There is no Queen Elizabeth special. Huh? The same brain you have, she has. God made women and men made queens, and God made men and men made kings. And the difference between a king and a queen is the way you wrap the gift. That's all. Nothing else. And one day when you learn to go to bed and drop all this crap and then wake up knowing that the force that's responsible for you is responsible for this planet. It's been here trillions of years, and there's never been two sunrises in the same morning. Huh? And the same white racist thug that messed with you, the same God that made you, made him and her. So why don't you go to the parent and say, you need to check this punk son of yours out. Huh? You need to deal with this heathen. You don't have to deal with that. I had 10 children, and I defy you, if one of my children takes something for you to jump on them. Come to me. I'm the daddy. I'll handle it for you. Not only will I deal with that, but I'll pay you your money back. Huh? But y'all be sitting around talking all that old talk and talking all that old talk and running that whole game down and game down and game down. And it's just a handful of people that know that whole hit ain't had nothing to do with Jews. Hear me good now. You really stupid enough to believe that the Mossad ain't nothing but an extension of the CIA? Do you believe that little punk country over there like Israel can control anything if we don't want them to? Are you crazy? And the problem with you black, y'all don't got too hip to understand what's going down. Them little children over there in Palestine been throwing bricks at tanks. Huh? Hear me. You know, I don't need y'all to clap for me. Because you're so busy clapping, you missed something. They've been throwing bricks at them tanks for 9 months. And on September the 11th, when the real white boys took over, they said no more bricks. And they ain't threw no brick at no tank till 2 days ago. Now, how can I be so high-strung? Little young children out there throwing bricks at an army. And then all at once it stops. Matter of fact, it looked like if you going through some pain and strain, I would double my forces on you. How can you live with this filthy, insane, racist, slick system and not know it? Huh? The Arabs are so ignorant and dumb, they can't even get their own oil out the ground. Huh? They got to come over here and get white companies to go down the ground and get their oil. You ever know any poor, ignorant black person that was saving their money so they could send their children to an Arab school to go to college? You ever heard of the Arabs inventing anything? Then what makes you think they can bust the #1 master country in the world when it comes to slickness and conniving and do stuff over here that the KGB couldn't do? Are you crazy? Are you crazy? What they didn't tell you is the World Trade Building was sold 2 months ago. Somebody knew what was going down. Huh? For $666 million, which is 666, huh? Whom the gods want to destroy, they first make maggot. So take care of your body. Black folks walk around thinking y'all so hip, so slick, in tune to some kind of God. What God? Anytime you got to get up every morning and go to work, you don't know God. Jesus ain't never had no job. Huh? They say he was a carpenter, but you ain't never seen him with no hammer. You ain't never seen him fixing nobody's steps. And the people that control the world don't work. And every one of you sitting in here got more integrity and more intelligence in your baby finger than Queen Elizabeth got in the whole body. She rich and you ain't. You tuning into the wrong vibration. Huh? Black folks in America is less than 12% of America's population, and as we sit here now, 87% of everybody in America on kidney dialysis machines is black folks. So what kind of drums you beat? They don't have one kidney dialysis machine in all of Africa, not because they're too poor, they don't need them. Because you sit here, you internalize this white racist system, and you talk all that crap and talk all that stuff, and you ain't gonna do nothing about it. Walk around looking all evil and mad, and if that scared white folks, we'd have won a long time ago. And then most of you, when you get around white folks, that evil look leaves. Huh? Yeah, I see y'all. I'll be with y'all when y'all get down there. Black men, less than 4% of America's population. Black men, less than 4% of America's population, but 80. Black men is less than 4% of America's population, but 83% of prostate cancer death is black men. Who the hell y'all praying to? But you can walk around looking so hip, and you ain't gonna take this and ain't gonna take that, and you might be bad outside, but inside your body. Go all over the world fighting for this thug, and then come home, a cop and shot your mom in the back, you want to march. And getting ready to let your children go out now. All over the world killing, and then come back and a cop beat them to death. And you don't understand how unpure and how insane that is. How long? So drink your water. Do your walking. And you rise up to the level. You do what you want to do. The one thing with Brother Maddox, y'all ought to just look at him, because this white boy, let me tell you, this is the meanest, most vicious system that ever been put together in the history of the planet. And they ran at him to crush him and missed. And very seldom this boy missed. But very seldom he have a spirit to run at. Huh? Leonard Jeffries and his wife, they ran at them. And you niggas been running around believing, oh, you got to do is get a PhD and you're all right. Ask Leonard about that. One of the fine minds on the planet, they don't care. And one of the big problems we have in America, y'all so busy trying to peacefully coexist with a white, racist, filthy system. That's a violation of God. When I wake up in the morning, the first thing I say is not thank God that I woke up. The Ku Klux Klan wake up in the morning. I say, thank God I have survived another 24 hours in the most vicious, insane, racist system in the history of the planet. And then we looked at this tragedy the other day, and everybody started talking about America the Beautiful. Huh? Hey, did I leave? Did I go somewhere? Did I walk over there, or am I up here? And everybody is talking about how beautiful America is, and America sending X amount of money for the trash. Let me tell you the greatest thing ever happened in this town on September the 11th. You had firefighters running into a building where people was running out, and they kept going in anyway. Think about that. Think about that. Not what America wants you to believe, president talking all silly. Listen to me. Quiet your spirit. You had firefighters, hear me, running into a building, huh? Where people were running out, huh? And they went in anyway, huh? And not one person have talked about that. They're talking about how much money is raised and what we're not going to take off this and we're not going to take off that. Think about them cops. Them cops ran into a situation where their gun couldn't shoot it and their nightstick couldn't whoop it. Huh? And they went in anyway. Huh? Huh? Think about that. I mean, can you imagine you got a gun and a badge and a nightstick, and every now and then God puts us in situations where none of that counts. And they went in anyway. Cops that's used to dealing with situations with their gun, dealing with situations, whooping your head. There was no heads to whoop and nothing to shoot. But they went in anyway. Huh? Think about that. Think about what the human spirit can do when you rise up to that, huh? Occasion. You go to shopping mall, they got 60,000 slots for cars to park. You ever been out one of them big ones? All the slots is taken except the handicap, and you know they ain't coming, and you better not park there. You know what I'm talking about? Kind of make you mad, you know. Everywhere you go, there's handicap parking. Go to drugstore, handicap parking. Police station, handicap parking. Grocery store, handicap parking. Hospital, handicap. They got handicap parking everywhere in America except the liquor store. Now, you want this whiskey, you get out that wheelchair and walk on in here. You need some help? No, I get my whiskey on my own. So take care of your body. Get you some rest, because this thing ain't over. The number one cause of death in America is not homicide, it's not drugs, it's sleep deprivation. Hear me good now. There's a universal God force that says until you get 9.5 hours of sleep every 24 hours, there's a chemical that will not be manufactured. You can't buy it. You can't educate yourself on it. You can't cuss your way into it. You can't mean your way into it. This is controlled by the universe. And if you don't get 9.5 hours plus, you don't get that chemical. And not getting that chemical is equivalent to running out of gas. Okay? You can't know the right white folks. You can't have the right bank account to get it. It can't be bought nor sold. The number 2 cause of death in America is dehydration. Lack of drinking water. Huh? Nobody else on the planet died from lack of drinking water like we Americans, and particularly we black folks. Huh? Racism, when you internalize it, tears the liver and the kidneys out. The liver, L-I-V-E-R, take the R off, it spells live. It weighs 3 pounds. It's an organ and a gland. It handles 500 different functions, and when it malfunctions, it opens you up to 1,000 different conditions. And God is such a good God because whenever there's a deficiency, there's a warning. We ignore it. You sit here tonight and smell smoke. That's your warning. You sit there and say, I smell something like smoke. What have you ever smelled like smoke that wasn't smoke? And then at the last minute when you realize, well, this is too late. That's why if I was in a wheelchair like you, I would right here. I'd be right there by that exit, because if anything happened, everybody's going to run off and leave you. That's right. That's right. So if I was in that wheelchair, I would jump through that door and leave my chair to block them. And when they all wiped out, I say to the press, I tried to stay back there and help them, but they just won't listen to the handicap. You know what I mean? How long? Migraine headaches, like a drinking water. If you could go to the power where they transfer the electric, to shooting it out and keep these lights on, it rolls. They learned that from studying the human brain. You have neurological centers, and they roll. In this water, they're transferring from one to another. And when that water gets low, they just stay there and pop and pop. It's called a migraine headache. Ain't got nothing to do with your head. Anytime your head hurts you and you haven't been hitting your head, that's God telling you, that's my warning. Something's wrong. Correct it, or I will kill you. When a mother, pregnant woman, wakes up with morning sickness, that's God for us saying, you and the baby's crying out for my water. Asthma is dehydration. An asthma attack is the body gets so dehydrated the brain sends a message to squeeze the water out of the lungs. You call it an asthma attack. 6 quick glasses of water would normally break that up, and yet people die from it because you running somewhere trying to get a shot. This machine's put together, and bones move, and they move, and what keeps them from bumping into each other is water. And when you get dehydrated, they start rubbing into one another. That's God giving you a signal. You call it arthritis and rheumatism, and going to put some liniment on instead of drink some water. Ulcers is nothing but lack of drinking water. The colon so dehydrated it can't break down the acid that you make to digest your food. Dehydration. Lower back pain, and everybody heard of this fifth lumbar. That's the one that 75% of your upward movement comes from that fifth lumbar. And right on the fifth lumbar, it sits on top of the fourth lumbar, but God put between the fourth lumbar and the fifth lumbar, there's a disc full of water. And when you get dehydrated and that water leaves, the fifth lumbar rubs into the fourth lumbar, and you go get tractions and operations and lower back pain inside of that. Oh, God's trying to tell you, listen to my signals. When all these old ignorant folks pulled off the other day on the 11th, God was still trying to tell you, listen to my signal. Hear my signal. People running out to get gas masks and don't know the same thugs that's going to party is the one that make the gas mask. So if you're going to get one, you better go one of those small towns and Army surplus or call somebody. Don't get it from one of them 800 numbers. See, first they scare you. Then they make money on your fear. Drink water, take care of your body. What is it that mess up your liver? Anger, depression, fear, stress, alcohol, coffee, constipation, white sugar, all kinds of drugs, including prescription drugs. Tobacco, overeating. Teenage black boys in America have more asthma deaths in 1 year than all the asthma deaths on this planet put together. And that don't bother y'all? Well, why? Because asthma is dehydration. Well, what do little black boys drink in America? Gatorade, soda pop, Kool-Aid, milk. Huh? Somewhere. And so I say to you tonight, we got a big job and haven't got much time, and those of you that's not planning on dealing with it, have fun and have fun quick, or recess is just about over. And understand your power. The white folk came out and said, Giuliani, he should have another term. Al Sharpton say, get that thug out of there. And today he listened to Al and said, I ain't gonna run no more. Black folks in this town shamed him so bad when he hooked up with white folks and started marching about them police killings, embarrassed the boss. He had to fake like he had cancer. Try to get him some sympathy. You ain't heard him talking about cancer lately, have you? That's the power you have when you come together and leave hatred somewhere and leave all of those craziness. You have the power to take the #1 most powerful city in the world and make the mayor fake like he's sick. Hope y'all will leave him alone. Cancer up in his butt. And then the police chief right behind him said, I just discovered, I said, damn, y'all got 32,000 cops there and can't watch your booty. Huh? It's a white newspaper here, the Philadelphia Inquirer. Sunday, March the 29th, 1997. A white paper. Saying daily life, blacks found to be more religious than white folks. If Al Sharpton said that, or Jet Magazine said that, or the Amsterdam News said that, even black folks would be complaining. But in this white racist system, the white folk got a right to tell the truth about me and nobody accuse them of being a racist. Well, I tell y'all something now. If you don't understand your power, because what's fixing to happen in the next 6 months, you better have fun and have fun quick, or recess is just about over. You have a God force and a God intelligence, and all you got to do is tune into it. And understand what racism will do to you. I got my head so messed up, I'm about ready to come out for racial profiling. Yeah, you see, after that little 95 Carter in New Jersey, Highway 95, black folk got to complaining so much, they said, okay, we're going to do a little survey, and the federal government made them do a survey, and they found out that 2/3 of the people that get stopped are black folks. And they found 13% drugs on them. They found out 1/5 of the people get stopped is white folks, and they found 33% drugs on them. So I'm for racial programming. Stop them white folks. They got the dope. Stop them. If you took two little bitty baby goldfish, you ever seen them when they're real small? They just look like a black pencil mark. If you took two baby goldfish and you put one in a goldfish tank about that big, and you put one in the bathtub, the one in the goldfish tank would grow about 1.5 inches. And the one in the bathtub would go 3 to 4 feet. And y'all need to do that experiment, because that's what a racist system do to you. They don't care how much money, what school you go to, who your daddy was, who your mama was, what church you go to. Living in this system, being black, you're in the goldfish. And then what's more frightening than that, they found out when they took the goldfish out of the goldfish bowl and put it in the bathtub, it never swam past the perimeter of that bowl. So y'all think y'all so hip, huh? Y'all think you can ball up your fish. Y'all think y'all can talk slick. It don't work like that. It is a violation of God to have somebody and you tolerate somebody treating you below the dignity that God put in you just so you can feed your family or pay your rent or send your children to college. God say death is better. And it wasn't them black slaves that tolerated this nastiness. It was the ones that jumped overboard. That's the light that we see shining today. And now it's payday. And y'all always trying to hog pain. Always talking about what white folk trying to do to you. World War I and World War II, they wasn't declaring war on Africa. Them white folks was declaring war on each other. Oh, you got to just shut up and get out the way. You want to always be up there in their face. What's going on, boss? What we in trouble? Let's leave them alone. Just stand there, leave them alone. Say, I'll check you out when you get back, boss. I'll be here, I ain't going nowhere. They did not develop a nuclear bomb to drop on Africa. They developed a nuclear bomb to drop on each other. Y'all run around believing you black, you the nigger. There's a handful of these white boys, and anything below them is a nigger. There were no black folks in Bosnia. And had NATO and the UN not gone there, they'd have wiped them all out. Go home tonight and look at your toothpaste. And then go in the white neighborhood and buy it. See if it's a different brand. It's the same one. And right there in the small print it say, do not swallow. They don't put that on whiskey. And in case you do swallow it, that last sentence say, contact a poison control center, because an ordinary medical doctor do not have the education to save you. And so we're going to run fast tonight, so I want y'all to hear. I want you to pay attention. Very seldom I have this much to bring you. There's a vitamin that an Egyptian developed in the hospitals in Japan. Some of you all probably heard of it, MGN what? 3. Who said that? MGM3. You took 3 mushrooms, and rice bran, And with that black consciousness coming out of Africa, he said, I'm not going to deal with cancer. I'm going to deal with the immune system. And he understand that your white cells, there's 130 different divisions, and all he dealt with was 1 and 2, which are the killer cells. And when you take that vitamin he put together with nothing but mushrooms and rice bran, if you got cancer, it'll knock it down. If you haven't got cancer, you can never get it. And they run around talking about they're trying to find a cure. If you got AIDS, it'll knock it down. If you haven't got AIDS, you can never get it. That's what the immune system is about. HIV, V is for virus. What is AIDS? Immune deficiency breakdown. How do you solve it? Build up the immune system. They got y'all running around scared. I mean, scared. I ain't never seen. And black folk, y'all be scared of nothing. I ain't never seen. Ain't nobody on the planet scared of AIDS as black folks in America. You never have to worry about nobody stealing your car. You leave the door open, the keys, and the engine on. All you got to do is put a sign. This car is used in AIDS research. And black folk can't even read or read that. And sister, if you know how scared folks are, hey, you would never worry about getting raped. So I said, somebody jump on you, rape you, don't holler, just pull your drawers and say, come on, I ain't had none of this since I found out I had AIDS. Oh, please tell me it didn't go in. Oh, please, miss, it didn't go in, did it? I want you to hear this. It's called MGN3. Now, you can get it at some health food stores. I have a friend of mine in D.C. that agreed to carry it because I cannot go around the country telling people about it and you got cancer or don't want to get it and you can't find it. Here's what I want you to do. If you write this phone number down, and I will leave this here, so you'll be able to get the phone number. Is 202-554-4499. 202-554-4499. Now they're talking about, I said I'm going to pay for the vitamin. I did not say that. Will you be waiting on that? You will die. How am I going to buy it? Same way you buy whiskey. And so let me move real fast, and then slow up. The power that black folks have. When you think about the show that Al and Brother Max was on this weekend, black. NBC, CBS couldn't touch what happens. Kathy Hughes is probably the #1 largest black business in the world today. And she started off with one little station and just bought $1.5 billion worth. It was on her show. Well, we were able to get on that show and say George Washington was not the first president of the United States. George Washington was the 9th president of the United States. The first 8th president was black men, and the first president was this real black man here. John Hanson. And we told folks on the show, go get your $2 bill and look at the back of the $2 bill and look at the left side and see that black man with the nappy hair sitting in that chair. That's John Hanson. Get a good look at him because he ain't waiting no tables for them white folks. And you don't have to be too smart to figure that out. If America's birthday is July the 4th, 1776, and Washington become president to 89, somebody one day got to say, who ran the country between you? And then because of that black radio station, and because people was laughing, and we kept doing it, and one day, Tuesday, August 13, 1998, page A15, the Washington Post. Everyone knows George Washington was the first president. Everyone is wrong. John Hanson was elected president 7 years before Washington. White House. And so the power that we have, is incredible when you understand that power and use that power, huh? And stop being silly. How in the world can you live in a country where someone done stole you, huh? Brought you over here. It's the same folk that put smallpox germs in Indians' blankets. It's the same bird that took 600 black men and said, we're going to give you a shot this winter so you won't catch a cold, and injected syphilis into them, and y'all got nerve enough to sit and not even entertain the thought that that's where AIDS come from. His invention. And y'all sit and you think you know God? AIDS was invented at Case Western Institute by a doctor by the name of Dr. Pavia that graduated from Northwestern University. And then they moved it from there to Cleveland General, then to Fort Detrick, and then they sent it out to 2 white neighborhoods. Gay white neighborhood in New York, gay white neighborhood in San Francisco, so nobody could ever sit around when they give it to you and say, no, they wouldn't invent it because didn't nobody have it with white folk first. That's how dirty this boy is. He'll kill his mama, then come get you just so you won't suspect it was him. How long? And then you sit up and you pick up Wednesday, November the 25th, 1998, Washington Times. African nations are hit the hardest in AIDS epidemic. 2 million people expected to die by the end of the year. How can I get something new if I ain't doing nothing new? Africa's the richest continent in the world. They want what's under the ground, but they don't want what's above the ground. So they're going to kill them all, they think. My oldest daughter, she was at the London School of Economics working on her master's and doctor's degree. And me and the late Hosea Williams, we just happened to be over there to visit her, and I'm walking down the street, and in the front page Times, Monday, May 11, 1987, smallpox vaccine triggers AIDS virus. They do a whole story on how the World Health Organization, under the false pretense of eradicating smallpox, gave 75 million people AIDS. Huh? And y'all sit and have black folk run around ashamed of what they doing over there. They're just so trifling. And then you black folks really went off on that conference in Durban on racism. I can't believe black folk were complaining because America walked out. Why would you want a racist nation to be in a conference like that anyway? That's like y'all having a conference on child molestation, and I'm the #1 child molester on the planet, and y'all invite me? And then black folk got mad because America walked out. We should have put them out. The #1 most racist, insane nation in the history of the planet, and black folk run around crying because they walked out. Y'all crazy. And reparations, we gonna get reparations. And you ain't gonna have nothing to do with it. Them same lawyers that got 40% of that $300 billion cigarette settlement, them is the ones gonna get you reparations. Ain't got nothing to do with loving you, got something to do with their piece of the cut. And they sitting somewhere right now figuring it out. And all that reparation money the Jews got, they didn't get this because they're Jews. Them was lawyers that worked out there and got that money. And y'all better be ready and be healthy, because with DNA now, when they finally get ready to pay us, them white folk be checking. You know how much of our blood they get? They be in the front of the line. Y'all already see they getting ready now. The number one rapper's a white boy. They getting ready for this now, huh? Where's Miss? She's still here? Miss, where's she? Miss. Where's Miss? Raise your hand, man. That's one of my children, Miss. That's her name, Miss. Raise your hand, Miss. Raise your hand. Raise your hand, yeah. That's her name, M-I-S-S. There's one black child on this planet that they have to call Miss Gregory. That's her name. This is my baby boy here. This is Johansen. He changed his name. We gave him an African name, Johansen. He said, that ain't enough. Get rid of this slave name, Gregory. So, pronounce your last name.
Makubela.
Say it again.
Makubela.
I said, I told him when he did it, I said, that's cool until one of them white racist cops pull you over and ask your name, and that cracker think you trying to spit on him. Oh. Nigga, what you say? Don't leave. Here. No, come on, stand right here. No paper but this black magazine ran this story. Not NBC, not CBS. People been shooting up for over 200 years, and now you're going to tell me they just start using dirty needles? All the people that got sugar diabetes all over the world and insulin, and they all at once, they never use, are y'all crazy? I've been trying to tell y'all a long time ago when they passed out free condoms. They put it in there. I never used one. I wouldn't buy one. I mean, you know, they too demeaning. One size fit all. Love to go in the grocery store, the drugstore, and say, give me that extra, XS large. Wow! Now, ain't nothing I could do with it, but at least the clerk wouldn't know that. This magazine is a black magazine called Health Quest. Huh? And it was last October, November issue. And y'all know it's a full moon out there tonight. And y'all know there'll be another full moon this month. Because anytime the moon gets full this early, the 28-day cycle, so it's going to be a hell of a month. And y'all know some big explosions just took place on the sun, and that energy should be hitting us in a couple of days. And you think you saw something the other day, huh? Listen to this. Quiet your spirit and hear this, because not one newspaper have ran this story.
Okay. AIDS action, health warning. Following up on studies presented at the International AIDS Conference in Durban, South Africa, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has issued an urgent AIDS health advisory. Many people have been consulted that monoxidil 9, a microbial gel contained in many spermicides, provided extra protection against HIV transmission.
Hold up now. Hear this good now. Listen to this.
Okay. However, a recent study conducted on 1,000 HIV-negative prostitutes in Africa found that using Noxonol 9 gel actually increases, not decreases, the spread of HIV.
This is when you buy those condoms that's lubricated. That's called N9. Huh? Now go back and read this slow. Listen to this here. It said the Center for Disease Control issued an AIDS advisory. Huh? That's like when they issue a tornado, a hurricane advisory. That means everybody who has a job that deals with disaster.
Microbiocide gel contained in many spermicides provides extra prevention against HIV transmission. However, a recent study conducted on 1,000 HIV-negative prostitutes in Africa found that using Noxonol 9 gel actually increases, not decreases, the spread of HIV.
Hear me, okay? Now listen to this.
All of the women who participated...
No, I'm sorry, here. 2 days ago, I went into the drugstore and bought. And right down the bottom it says, with the Noxonol. This only ran in one paper, Sunday, April the 23rd, 1995. Newsday, New York. They're the only ones that ran the Richter scale tapes. Richter scale is where they measure earthquakes. And you can have a Richter scale here and an earthquake in India, it'll pick it up. This Richter scale was located at the University of Oklahoma. And so it picked up Oklahoma City bombing. And what it showed here was 2 bombs that went off. And I've been trying to tell y'all ever since it happened that one day you're going to pay the price for letting them frame that boy. Huh? And I've been telling y'all, if he did it, my mama did it. Huh? Now you don't have to be too smart to figure out. You see, they control white folks. And see, y'all just be so uppity. You think this man after you, he after white folks. Because he know you ain't gonna hurt him. They control white folks with isms. Communism, racism, sexism. Communism's gone, racism, sexism under attack. So he had to create a new ism called terrorism. And now the same budget he used to get for communism, he's fixing to get now for terrorism. Huh? And y'all sitting right here with this punk thug and didn't see that coming down the chute? Only one paper ran this article. Huh? Her name's Carol Howe. What's her claim to fame? 90 days before Oklahoma was blowed up, she was an FBI alcohol and tobacco informant. Her informant number was C1-183. She told them they're drugs and laundering drug money, and they blew that plane out the sky. Huh? One of the premier celebrity psychics in the history of the planet was a woman named Jean Dixon. If we were able to force the government under the Freedom of Information Act, only one paper ran it, was the Daily News, Wednesday, December the 29th, 1999. Cited was FBI pawn. Jean Dixon attacked federal targets in her column. What they would do 18 months before Kennedy was shot in Dallas, she did a column saying, I see dark clouds over JFK's head in Dallas. He shouldn't go. And then when they pop them, they rerun the column, and nobody suspected that the FBI and the CIA was giving her stuff for what they was going to do and make it look like she was getting the juice from God. She said the same thing about Martin before he went into, I see dark clouds over Martin's head in Memphis. He should not go there. She's the one that say she see communists involved with the civil rights movement. And now thank God for this movement. Thank God that when Leonard Jeffrey and his wife was going through all them changes and might have thought there wasn't nobody listening. But God is a good God. God don't need no validation. They had me believing that atheists wasn't going to heaven, and one day it dawned on me, says, well, do God need your validation? And when Sharpton and Maddox and they go through all that torment, there's young white children that's listening, that heard the truth. And let me tell y'all something. You think that little bombing was something the other day? The G8 convention in Italy this past summer, something happened there that most folks miss. Those was 8 of the most powerful human beings that's ever lived in the history of the planet. Oh, and they call them anarchists and violent thugs. Let me tell y'all something. Because of this movement of ours that most of y'all ain't a part of, we have put it in their face, and for the first time in the history of the planet, white folks is being chased by their children. That's their children. Can you imagine if all of us in here now and our children is waiting outside, daring us to come out? Hear me now. You see, you my mother and you my father. And y'all done lied to me about these 2 gentlemen here. And y'all can talk about integration if you want to, a bunch of little snotty-nosed punks. If it were integration, this thing wouldn't be moving now. We got next to them white folk, so them lies didn't work. And you talk all that old crap you want to talk. But them being next to us and seeing how smart we are, and seeing that we don't stink, and seeing that we don't have tails, and understanding that there's something inside of me called melanin that they don't understand, but they feel it. And because you lied to me on them, because your mom and dad, I'm not going to hit you, but you better watch what I'm doing. Instead of whooping you, I'm inflicting pain on myself. That's why these white folks got 12, 15 screws running through their tongue, got all these screws running through their nose and stuff. But one day I'm going to stop inflicting pain on myself, and when I do that, you and Pop better not be around, because I will stomp y'all to death. Understand that? Y'all done bit your tongue accidentally while you was eating. You know how painful that is. These white folks go and stick their tongue out with no painkiller. They say put 5 bolts through it. And y'all don't see where this thing is going? They said Ron Brown, they said, oh, Ron Brown's body was so dismangled and tore up, and they said to his wife, we just identified him by his fingerprints, cremate him. And the white boys that did the autopsy brought me the picture, Ron Brown laying on the ground dead, body intact, no blood, no broken skin, except in the back of his head, that bullet hole right there. And they took a whole plane down just to cover up that they murdered Ron. Huh? And you older folks, y'all know what LBJ did when he wanted to bomb Hanoi? He was able to bomb Hanoi because one of our ships was sank in the Gulf of Tonkin and killed all them Americans, and we had the right to go bomb Hanoi. Then we found out we sank our ship. What's the difference in us sinking the ship and us blowing up that building over there? Huh? How long? And so fastly now, pay good attention because I'm going to take you on a quick ride. The president the other day went to Chicago, on the front page of Chicago Tribune. The president said, Bush tells travelers to get on board. So y'all go back and get on them planes. And then he drove away on Air Force One with 10,000 guards and jet fighters following him. And then yesterday, him and his wife went to a restaurant with the mayor of Washington, D.C. and his wife and said, come on back out and eat. But they didn't tell you they had 5 divisions surround that restaurant. Make sure he'd be okay. God blesses me. I was here in New York on Monday the 10th. So I got to see something. There was a white dude, his beautiful brother, Norm Siegel, is running for public advocate. And I just came to walk the streets with him on Monday the 10th. The election's supposed to be Tuesday the 11th. And the black brother that, y'all remember how it rained that day? New York, certain parts of it turned into a river. And I said to the brother with me, I said, I guess old Norm going to win. He said, what do you mean? I said, well, the rain is telling us something. Whenever you get this kind of water, it means there's a new era being ushered in. I didn't know what it was. I thought it was him gonna, like when the water bag break, something new coming. And so we had to get off the street because it was so rainy, so I had a 9:30 flight out. Let me tell you how God blessed me. And so I said, well, look here, see if you can get me an earlier flight. So he came back and he said, no. He said that all the flights is booked. A lot of them is canceled. He said, but Newark, this is Monday, have been down all day because they're having electrical problems. Huh? Newark have been down all day because they're having electrical problems. So a lot of the people left Newark and came to JFK and LaGuardia. So when the brother carries me out to LaGuardia, he said there's a possibility that the 9:30, the last one out, might not go. But I can get you in a hotel and put you out in the morning. So I called my wife. My wife said, you got a call from a friend of yours in Paris. Say, do not spend the night in New York. So 3 days later, I called him and said, how you know I was in New York? He said, we picked you up on the satellite. Huh? So y'all sit here and don't know the power of this thug and stupid enough to believe that some Arabs can slip in here? And so she put me on the train that night, and I got back, and I called a friend of mine and said, I'm back from New York, and we go out and walk every morning at 4:30, and it's dark, so we take flashlights. And I got to be at the Capitol for a press conference with Joe Madison. and Congressman Walter Fauntleroy to deal with a press conference about the slavery in the Sudan. It's going to be at 10 o'clock, but we're going to go at 9 so we can do a radio show. And had I been there, I wouldn't have seen the early part of what happened. And when you don't see that, you miss a lot. Because the Capitol was supposed to have been one of the targets, and they shut it down, and nobody could get to their cars. So Joe and them was calling me at my house for me to give them a blow, blah, blow. And why was I home? Because while I was out there walking, I tripped and fell. And hit my leg. And I got up and I said, damn, man, I haven't fallen since I was a child. I'm not running, I'm walking. I didn't know God had a master plan. And so when we get through walking the 5.5 miles, I look at my leg and it's bleeding. Now, at 6 o'clock in the morning, no drugstore is open close by me. So I got to go to the Safeway to get some gauze so I can stick, so when I put my suit on, I don't get, And so I changed my whole schedule, and I was getting back home in time for my wife and my son to call and say, a plane hit a building in New York. So I get to see it all, otherwise I'd have missed it. Now let me tell you what you missed if you'd have missed it. And some of y'all saw it and missed it. When it first got reported, it wasn't reported as a hijacking. They didn't know if it was a commercial plane, or a private jet. And all we saw was the smoke. And then while everybody was sitting there looking at that, we saw something go boom. And then they started to lie. And I called my wife and said, baby, listen what they're saying. I said, a commercial wide-body plane cannot make that maneuver. So now, they start telling us that these are skyjackers, that done took the plane and made the pilot fly into them buildings. Y'all go back and listen to the first stories. And then people start saying, wait a minute, how you gonna make a pilot who know he gonna die do your dirty work? And not until about an hour and a half later did they change it and said that the Arabs, terrorists, was flying the planes. They never said that at first. Hold your finger up like that. Hold both of them up like that. Look at them. That's what them two buildings look like at 600 miles an hour. How you gonna hit something that small when you just took a plane, you ain't even used to flying one? And how did we know they was Arab terrorists? Because they let them make phone calls. Otherwise, we wouldn't have known, because everybody be dead. Can you imagine? I hate y'all so much. I'm going to break in your house and blow myself up just so I can kill you, and I'm going to let you call your daddy and say goodbye. And all at once there was a struggle on the plane. How you know? How'd y'all know a group of folk? He, man, that white man's wife sitting up there in Congress made a hero out of here. They shot that plane down. No. The reason they can't say it, because the captain was a black man. And they cannot let the world know the first time America ever shot a commercial airline down, a black man was flying it. But when they said that wreck was scattered over 8 miles, if a plane crashed here, it's impossible for you to find pieces 8 miles away. It was scattered over 8 miles because it exploded in the air. How long? No one's asking the question of what was going on in the FAA tower when 4 planes is in the same corridor out of their flight plan? Huh? And they didn't suspect something? Don't y'all know they said somebody was on the PA system in them 2 buildings telling people to go back to the office? It's okay? Well, who can tell me to go back to death except the enemy? Then even if we was playing it straight, how did they get in the building? And how did they know what that system was? Then if you can get in the building to get on the PA system, you can also get in the building and bring dynamite. Because I watched that building crumble from the bottom, not the top. White boy called me in on the radio show to explain how that building crumbled from the bottom, although it was hit at the top. He told me he was a structural engineer. I said, I know what that is, but I got my ignorant grandmother I bring to the studio with me. She's so ignorant, he explained to her what a structural engineer is. So that white boy had to explain. And so I said, okay, she got it. Why'd you call in here? He said, well, you know, you said you couldn't understand how a building could be hit at the top and crumble from the bottom. He said, well, the way it happened was when that building was hit with them 2 planes, it was like 3,000 gallons of high-octane fuel, and it was so hot in intensity that it melted the steel beams from the top all the way down, and they crumbled. I said, it sure makes sense to me, but my grandmother said, if that's true, how come the second building that was hit fell first? The first building was heated up 30 minutes for the second one, but it didn't fall first. See, when you got enough sense not to get mad and not to get scared, you see through that crap. It's when you get all high-strung and get all upset and, then you don't see through nothing. How long? Now, we're going to run real fast here. I want to show you something. Come here. Yo. I want y'all to hear this real good because it didn't run but in one paper. San Francisco Chronicle. See the date there?
September 12th, Wednesday, 2001.
Y'all hear that? That's the day after, right? Yeah. San Francisco Chronicle. What's it say?
Okay. For Mayor Willie Brown, the first signs that something was amiss came...
Y'all know Willie Brown? Yeah. One of the most simple politicians on the planet. Go ahead.
For Mayor Willie Brown, the first signs that something was amiss came late Monday when he got a call from what he described as his airport security, a full 8 hours before yesterday's string of terrorist attacks, advising him that Americans should be cautious about their air travel. The mayor, who was booked to fly to New York yesterday morning from San Francisco International Airport, It was not an abnormal call. I'm always concerned if my flight is going to be on time, and they always alert me when I ought to be careful.
Exactly.
Okay. Exactly where the call came from is a bit of a mystery. The mayor would say only that it came from my security people at the airport.
Here it is, y'all. Here is one of the most visible politicians on the planet. He was called on Monday. Nobody picked that up on the wall. Nobody's running that story. You hear me? Nobody. And most of y'all, if you didn't hear it here, you wouldn't know. But if Willie Brown would have said to the Chronicle, they didn't kill enough of them, the whole world would have known what he said. Not only are you nasty enough to do it, you also have the power to control the press so nothing goes out of what you want out. So if you don't get in tune into your body and your spirit, so you can feel what the truth is, you're just as bad as he is. Also, hear me, this ran, San Francisco Chronicle, what's the date?
Okay, September 14th, Friday, 2001.
Listen to this now. Hear this.
Early warning, State Department memo warned of terrorist threat. Former U.S. Secretary of State George Shultz said yesterday that he was startled by a little-noticed State Department memo that was issued a week ago and warned that Americans may be the target of a terrorist threat.
This is the ex-Secretary of State under Ronald Reagan. This is what he said.
The memo, issued just 4 days before the attacks on New York and Washington, identified the threat as coming from extremist groups with links. So the threats coming from an extremist group, links to Osama bin Laden's group. I have not idea what intelligence lies behind the warning, Schultz said, but they put this out because they had some sort of intelligence.
Listen to this now. Listen.
Okay. But as Schultz pointed out, the mere fact that a warning was issued indicates that something was cooking. And indeed, in the one-page alert, the State Department said that it had received information in May 2001 that American citizens may be the target of a terrorist threat.
Wait a minute now. State Department had what?
Received information in May 2001.
And now they make like this was a surprise. Go ahead.
Okay. U.S. State Department Representative Julie Rezide in Washington downplayed the significance of the bulletin yesterday, saying it was only one of the latest in a series of periodical issued public warnings by the department.
Now hear this. Listen to this. Here.
A confidential law enforcement memorandum.
Good now. Listen to this.
Confidential law enforcement memorandum made available to the Chronicle says that in the week before the attacks, India's intelligence apparatus intercepted an unidentified form of communication from suspected terrorist leader Osama bin Laden, referring to the September 11th attack, and adding that more attacks were planned. The memo did not go into further detail.
This is Indian government. They outraged. Oh, we tried to tell y'all before it happened. Huh? Now, this only ran on MSNBC. Nobody else touched what you're fixing to hear here.
This one here. Mm-hmm. On September 11th, Russian President Vladimir Putin told interviewers on MSNBC that the Russian government had been warning the U.S. of imminent attacks on airports and government buildings in the strongest possible terms for weeks.
President of Russia said on MSNBC, nobody, no television picked it up, no newspaper picked it up. Listen to what he said.
Had been warning the U.S. government of imminent attacks on airport and government buildings in the strongest possible terms for weeks.
Now, somewhere, I say to you, y'all got to tune into your spirit or you're going to die. Huh? Because this boy's stone crazy. Huh? Now they talking about the Taliban. Oh, they talking about this stuff. What they don't tell you is Storm and Norman. Huh? Storm and Norman and Colin Powell trained them. Huh? Storm and Norman's from New Jersey. That family always been doing stuff. His daddy was the head of the state police. His daddy was the one that framed and sent a guy to the electric chair for killing Lindbergh's boy. Lindbergh's boy was mentally retarded. Lindbergh had that boy killed because he was an embarrassment. And no American hero should have a mentally retarded child. And it was Storm and Norman's daddy. So that family been doing nasty stuff for a long time. Only CNBC. Thought I had it, but meanwhile, while I look for it, Bin Laden has always been.
Who really is Osama bin Laden? The New York Times detailed in a feature article 1 month ago that bin Laden had been trained, financed, and under the direction of the CIA for a period of years and was brought to Afghanistan by the CIA after intensive instruction in armed attack, assassination, and setting up of the front organizations for U.S. intelligence.
Bin Laden's daddy put Bush and his boys in the oil business. Bush and the CIA gave bin Laden $6 billion to put an army together to fight the Russians. And that Russian-Afghanistan war wasn't a war of liberation. 99% of all the pure heroin in the world comes out of that part of Afghanistan. 99% of all the pure hashish in the world. They was fighting over who was going to control drugs, and it was Britain and us. And you look at that punk Blair over there yesterday talking about they put drugs into our tools. They do it. And I sent him a cable this morning and said, have y'all forgot about the opium war? Y'all fought the Chinese about y'all want... Oh, come on now, I don't have such sharp memories, white boy. We're going to run fast with this here because y'all need to get home. But I want y'all to go home with a different set of mind so y'all be able to keep your house. Only CNN ran this story and nobody else touched it. What's that say?
But not all of the annual U.S. aid is for food. Apparently, according to the CNN link referenced below, U.S. aid for the Taliban was $124.2 million this year.
That's this year. This year. Them thugs, we could go over there and fight with that crap. What they won't tell you is we gave them $124.2 million. But wait a minute, they didn't stop there. Listen to this. CNN, the only one reported this. Colin Powell last May did what?
Announced a gift of $43 million to the Taliban rulers of Afghanistan.
This past May announced that we're giving them a gift of $43 million. How long? And so go ahead.
With this gift, in addition with other recent aid, this makes the U.S. the main sponsor of the Taliban regime.
Now, wait a minute now. These are the folks we wonder where these thugs come from. We the man, huh? Now, let me just show you something here, because you have to dig deep when you're dealing with this thug. What's the date on that?
June 4th, 1992.
What paper is that?
That's right. The Houston Chronicle.
Did y'all hear that? Houston Chronicle, June what? 92. What's the headline say?
Okay. Feds looked into G.W. Bush bin Laden connection in 92. Federal authorities are investigating the activities of a Houston businessman, a past investor in companies controlled by a son of President Bush, who has been accused of illegally representing Saudi interests in the United States. The Financial Crimes Enforcement Network and the FBI are reviewing accusations that entrepreneur James Bath guided money to Houston from Saudi investors who wanted to influence U.S. policy under the Reagan and Bush administrations.
Now it goes on and on and on. Okay? Now all I want you to do, when you leave here tonight, join me at 12 noon every day to pray that the truth will come out. Now hear me. We ain't talking about no so-and-so found guilty, and if what the government is telling us is right, then they should join us in the prayer. And let me tell you something. They might have been able to get away with this. But something happened May the 5th of this year. We moved into the age of Aquarius. Woo! And you know what that means? Y'all need to go get that old Fifth Dimension song. They said the song was dawning of the age, because when they put that out, the age of Aquarius wasn't here. But they tell you what happened on the age of Aquarius when them planets line up in that seventh house, and what it means. For 6,000 years, this planet had been ruled by darkness, and now light took over. Check this out. I want y'all to hear this, and what I'm fixing to tell you now is probably the most important thing I tell you other than that vitamin. I want y'all to hear this real good. I'm approaching my 70th birthday. Which means I was born 30 years into the 20th century. But them first 30 years wasn't nothing happening. Little old lightweight World War I, little musket guns, they didn't have, But let me tell you, the last 70 years, No, we don't need it. You broke it. Thank you. No, we cut. Hear me. The last 70 years of the 20th century, Depression, World War II, they bombed, hear me, they bombed Hawaii, Pearl Harbor, but nobody in St. Louis thought they was gonna get bombed. They killed Kennedy, and I never saw people react, but nobody in America thought they was gonna die. Hear me now. Because I'm fixing to tell you where this thing's fixing to go. See, they don't need no more terrorists, what they just pulled off the other day. They killed King, and no white folks thought that black folks would start killing white folks the next day. When they blew up the church in Birmingham, black folks went to church the next day, week all over, not assuming the church was going to be blown up, and white folks went to church not assuming that we was going to retaliate. When they killed Malcolm and said black Muslims did it, black Muslims didn't have to get off the corner because they wasn't worried about being attacked. They killed Mecca. They killed Robert Kennedy. The other day, September 11th, is the first time in the history of this country that Americans think they're going to die. I've never seen such fear in my life. And let me tell y'all something. If you scared of rats, squirrels look like rats. And at the rate they're going, hear me, 6 months from now, the safest two people in this country will be black folks and white folks. And anything else gonna have to leave. Because when you scared, Mexican peach pickers look like Arabs. Hear me? When you scared, Ethiopians, which is more Christian than Jesus Christ, look like Muslims. Those of you that travel and woke up late in a hotel and go and ask the maid something and they can't speak English, no white folk gonna stay in a hotel with somebody that he don't understand what they say. Hear me. The maitre d' at the Four Seasons, been there 30 years, 6'3", take care of business. Deals with the richest white folks in the world. But he Arab. And all of us, he gonna have to leave now because white folks is not gonna have Arabs around their food. That's what fear will do. You saw what happened last week. They was putting Pakistanis off the plane. Two of them had PhDs on their way to a physics conference, and they put them off. They said there's a regulation that said that if someone get on a plane and scare or frighten or make passengers feel uncomfortable, they can ask you to move. But I got on the radio and said, I like that, because next time I get on a plane and that white woman be riding up there on first class, and I'm thinking about that white woman killed her 5 babies in Houston, I'm going to tell them folks, this woman scared me. Would you put her off this plane? But ain't it funny? The Bloods and the Crips, with their bandanas and their rings in their nose, can get on a plane in L.A. and ride all the way to New York, and the white folk can see Uzis sticking out their backpack, but that don't scare them, because they know they ain't gonna kill nobody but each other. Fear. Baby, this town is about to go under. That's why the president had to come here and talk about that money. San Francisco, those of you all that don't buy papers before the night's over, get USA Today and look at that story about the 5 major cities is about to go under. San Francisco, Washington, D.C., ain't nobody coming. See, white folk walk around acting bad. But he a punk, he a wimp. Huh? The only people he can mess with that don't mess with him back is us. And so I say to you, do not get caught up. Don't get not caught up in that fear thing. Do not get caught up in that. Somewhere we have a power second to none. Now, after they had to lie and say, well, they learned how to fly them planes by going to this school in Florida, huh? Only one paper ran this story. It said the Daily News. What's the date?
Saturday, September 22nd.
Listen to this here.
Okay. Flight schools owned by Buffett eyed in World Trade Center probe. A Florida flight school investigators believe was a training ground for several of the hijackers in last week's terrorist attacks is owned by billionaire investor Warren Buffett, the renowned sage of Omaha.
Wait, that story never ran no place but the Daily News. Warren Buffett, the billionaire, one of the richest men in the world, owns the school where they were supposed to have trained. Huh? Here, the Boston Globe, September the 18th, front page, bottom half, headline.
Flight school says FBI trailed suspects prior to hijackings. FBI Director Robert Mueller continued to insist yesterday that federal authorities had no reason to suspect Islamic extremists were training at U.S. flight schools before last week's suicide hijackings, even as more evidence surfaced raising questions about those assertions. The vice president of a flight school in Oklahoma told the Boston Globe yesterday that 3 weeks before Tuesday's hijackings, FBI agents interviewed him about a suspected terrorist who had trained at that school. Dale Davis.
Save some time. They've been trailing him. Huh? Now, hear this. Commercial planes, all you need to do is take off and land them. They fly by themselves. And I can put that thing on automatic pilot and make it hit what I want it to hit. Huh? I don't need nobody. Huh? But you know, when you all look at the Pentagon hit, there's something strange about it. You see no plane parts. Huh? You don't see no piece of wing or piece of, I don't care. When you hit a building that low, even if the plane explodes, and they show and you see no plane parts. Huh? Plus, they say they went under the radar. Let me tell y'all something. You'd be better off going to heaven smacking God than violating that no-fly space over the Pentagon. Trust me. Okay? So for you all to sit there and let somebody tell you that some folk took a plane and went in there and did all that, if you buy that, then prepare yourself for death. Now, in leaving you, two things. This here only ran in Newsday. What's the date?
September 21st. September 21st, 2001.
Now, I want y'all to hear this. We out of here in a minute. I'll be back there. They got my book back there, so I'll go back there and sign them. But listen. Listen to this date. And listen, only paper ran this. Listen to this story here.
Okay. On September 1st, a man using the name Nawak Al-Mizi registered at the Pinedale Motel in Laurel, Maryland.
Listen now, the Pinedale Hotel in where? Laurel, Maryland. Huh? That's where the CIA planned this whole operation. You know the first time the world heard the word Laurel, Maryland? Any of you old folks remember? That's where they shot George Wallace, in Laurel, Maryland, at the shopping mall. And what they didn't tell you, that Arthur Bremer, who was accused of shooting him, had a gun that shoots only 5 times. George Wallace was hit 5 times, and nobody explained how the other 3 people on the platform got hit that day, the Alabama State Trooper, Secret Service agent, and the woman. Now, I want you to hear this, because we're going to tie something together. Laurel, Maryland. Listen at the hotel. What's the name of the hotel?
Pinedale Motel in Laurel, Maryland.
Now listen at this.
On September 14th, the FBI identified as Al-Hamazi as one of the 19 hijackers involved in last week's terrorist attacks, and investigators eventually found their way to the Pinedale Motel. But the records apparently led nowhere. The address turned out to be a quality hotel in Manhattan, whose records show they had never had a guest by that name. New York Department of Motor Vehicles said it has never issued a license to anyone with that name and uses numerical codes that don't resemble the ones in the motel's records.
Now, y'all heard that, right? Now, in the Washington Times, Friday, September the 21st, listen at this headline. Now, if you didn't know this here, then this wouldn't mean nothing to you. What's that headline saying?
FBI van stolen from Laurel as agent watches.
You hear that? Now, listen. FBI van stolen from Laurel as agents watch. See, here's what happened. Then I didn't read it.
FBI van...
Wait. They went in and started confiscating stuff and then found out, oh, this is us. So they said, we can't take this stuff to headquarters. They said, well, we got 2 black guys that steal stuff for us. Now listen to this. What's it say?
An FBI van carrying radio gear was stolen yesterday morning in Laurel. A community investigators...
Now wait a minute. See, I decided to mess up the story. What's a community investigator? That's supposed to get the skyjack. They can't even keep their promise.
Community investigators have scoured in connection with last week's terrorist attacks on the Pentagon and the World Trade Center. The president wants us to get back to normal.
Wait a minute, listen to this. This is what he said. The president wants us to get back to normal. What's that got to do with this story? But listen what they say.
I'm sad to report that things are returning to normal as far as crime is concerned.
This is what the FBI said. Nah. Y'all got to pay some attention now. Y'all got to pay attention. Listen to this. Hear this. Listen.
He said the vehicle was a 2-tone 92 Dodge van. It was parked among other vehicles, unattended but locked, he said. He said the agent was using the van, saw two black men in their 20s. Black men in their 20s pull up in a white van beside the FBI vehicle. One of the men drove off in the FBI van and the other drove off in the white van. Mr. Gulata declined to say why the agent did not attempt to halt the theft.
They sitting there, this is what they said. The FBI van was locked. They see two black men drive away. They didn't get the gun. You know what they mean about shooting a brother. Listen to this now. Here, go ahead.
The van was carrying radio equipment and did not contain any weapons or evidence pertaining to the Laurel investigation. We're not sending agents out looking for this one.
Listen.
We've had vehicles.
No, hold it, son. Damn, don't run past that. The FBI said we ain't sending agents out looking for this van. Matter of fact, we ain't even gonna report it. Listen what they say. Go ahead.
We've had vehicles stolen before.
Looking for, we have our bands so all the time. But this is who they reported. Look who the FBI reported to. Who they reported to?
To the Maryland State Police.
They called the Maryland State Police and said, can y'all help us? Now, y'all, there's two things I'm going to leave you with. Now, hear this. Two things I'm going to leave you with. Now, hear this. I don't know nothing about computers. And don't want to know nothing about computers. I'm going to get me a computer when Queen Elizabeth get her one. Huh? I don't know nothing about no computer in no shape, form, or fashion. But those of you all that do, when you go home tonight, punch this up. Okay. And those of you all that, come on now, come on, you make too much noise, right? Punch this up, what he's going to tell you, and then I'm going to show you what you're going to see. Now remember, what you fixing to punch up, been in that Microsoft ever since he invented. Huh? All right, listen, here's what you punch up.
Okay, the program you're going to go into is Microsoft Word. Then you put the cap lock on and type the letter Q, then the number 33NYC. Highlight that, then make it bold. Change the font to 72, and then change the type to wingding. Wingding. Again, that's in Microsoft Word with the caps locked. You type Q33NYC. Q, the letter Q is in quack. 33NYC. highlight it, and then make that all bold. You're going to change the font to 72 and change the typeset to Wing Ding.
You got that? Now, wait a minute, ho. Let me tell you what'll pop up on the screen. A plane, the 2 World Trade buildings, a skull and bone, a Star David, and a thumbs up. And that's been in that computer since day one. All right? Now, y'all sit here and play your little games and get out of your spiritual God power. I say to you tonight, prepare yourself for death. Here. This boy is serious. Just give me 2 seconds. Come on now. Well, if y'all want to keep talking, I'm through. Please, nothing. I got it. I'm going to give you free what I bought and paid for, and I got to talk over your talk. You got to be crazy. The New World Order means a world without Islam. Islam is the fastest growing religion on this planet. And it's all non-white folks. So these folks sit back, not white, these little white chunks y'all know. I'm talking about Queen Elizabeth type, the Pope type. The heads of state, they sit back and say, forget about now, what do you think this planet will look like 1,000 years from now? Let's stop them. So what they do, they pull off a hit and blame it on Arabs and hint that they're radical Muslims, but they don't tell you that radical Muslims work for us. Including Saddam Hussein. He's always been a CIA thug. Now let me tell you what they're going to do. They're going to blow down one of these bridges in a major city. They'll probably assassinate a well-renowned black and blame it on a radical Muslim. Civil rights icon, I put on the internet, I'm not an icon, I'm not an icon, I'm not an icon, I'm not an icon, not an icon. And up until recently, I always, because I remember early this year, I got real tired. You know how you walk, and then I said, I'm going to walk 8 more miles, and I came home, and I sit on the couch, and I was in Chicago, in D.C., and I'm kind of sitting on the couch, and I'm kind of in like a twilight zone. You know how you're not asleep, and you're all asleep, but you're not asleep, and you're just tired, and I had TV on. They say, bulletin, civil rights icon admits baby out of wedlock. I ran, called my wife, said, baby, don't talk to the press, I'm coming home, I can explain it. She said, go on back to sleep, they're talking about Jesse. I said, well, you do have to admit I am an icon, ain't it, baby? So now, I heard somebody say to assassinate the Pope and blame it on right. Now all the Catholics is against Islam, huh? They probably assassinate Arafat, blame it on radical Muslims, huh? They blow up a football stadium in America, huh? And then the planes will take off, and we will drop a nuclear bomb on Iraq and swear it was a conventional bomb that hit his nuclear arsenal. Huh? Huh? Wait a minute. And then we'll drop germ war on Iran and swear it was a conventional bomb that hit his germ war arsenal, but we'll drop them on all Muslim countries and swear the wind blew it over, and within one day, Islam's over. That's what they think. That's what they think. Huh? Hear me. Hear me. And that's why I say all you have to do, you don't have to be bad. All you got to do is just pray that the truth will come out. Huh? You don't have to get no guns. You don't have to go to Washington, D.C. and cuss and call them a bunch of redneck, no good, filthy, honky crap. Just pray to your God. Huh? That the truth will come out. And so I say to you today, 12 o'clock, you can do it all the time, but don't do no more pimp prayers. Don't make none of them old prayers. Y'all be just begging and moaning. No, just. By the time y'all get through, it'll be over. Huh? Now, put you some bottled water away. Now listen, don't hoard, because hoarding is a violation of God. Those of you all that got deep freezers, let me see. How many of y'all got deep freezers? Start cooking that stuff now and eating it, because once the light... Those of you all that have a Christian Bible at home tonight before you go to bed, read Revelation 18. Those of you that haven't, get one. Give this. Give this. Revelation 18. Here.
After this, I saw another angel coming down.
Another meaning there was one before. And we didn't see the first plane. But the second, Revelation 18.
After this, I saw another angel coming down from heaven. He had great authority, and the earth was illuminated by his
That they get that big ball of arms fire illuminated all over the world. They saw. Hear me.
With a mighty voice he shouted, "Fallen, fallen is Babylon the
Heard
Great."
the news people talking about it's falling. It's falling. Matter of fact, one said, "My God." I ain't never heard of news. That my God is it's falling.
She has become a home for demons and a haunt for every evil spirit, a haunt for every unclean and detestable bird. For all the nations have drunk the maddening wine of her adulteries. The kings of the earth committed adultery with her, and the merchants of the earth grew rich from her.
Merchants is the World Trade Center. That's New York.
Yes.
He said the merchants of the go ahead.
And the merchants of the earth grew rich from her excessive luxuries. Then I heard another voice from heaven say, "Come out of here, come out of her, my people, so that you will not share in her sins, so that you will not receive any of her plagues. For her sins are piled up to heaven, and God has remembered her crimes. Give back to her as she has given. Pay her back double for what she has done. Mix her a double portion from her own cup. Give her as much torture and grief as the glory and luxury she gave herself."
Hear me, yeah. Hear the script now.
In her heart she boasts, "I sit as queen, I am not a widow, and I will never mourn. Therefore, in one day her plague..."
One day, huh? Not a week. One day. Go ahead.
Death, mourning, and famine. She will be consumed by fire. For mighty is the Lord who judges her. When the kings of the earth who committed adultery with her and shared her luxury see the smoke of her
And
burning,
that's all you saw, all the rest of those 2 days, and smoke. All over the world. Go ahead.
they will weep and mourn over her, terrified at their torment. They will stand far off and cry, "Woe, woe, O great city, O Babylon, city of power. In 1 hour your doom is come."
1 hour. Thanks. Y'all finish. Now, let me tell you something you ought to meditate on. There was a white dude down there. It was a bond trader. He had $50 trillion in business. You see?
Yes.
50 trillion. How many people did he lose? 700. They told me that, didn't they? Was he there? Wait a minute. Wait, listen. He wasn't there, right? something that's going to come back to haunt you one day. No, come on, listen now. Don't get all deep all at once. He said, in the early hours of that crisis, we will need 60,000 fighters. 60,000 fighters. That's what he said. Why did he say that? Because those two buildings employ 54,000 people every day. That's not counting the people who come there to do business with. So let's assume 10% didn't show up, sick, vacation, whatever. There's 25,000 people that's not coming. Are you crazy? There's 45,000 people. That's not coming from. They're telling us now that 5,000 dead, when you count the ones that injured, where are those other people? If they got out, how come they haven't been interviewed? How come they didn't bring 40,000 people, huh? To Central Park, to say in their town, y'all missed, who y'all away? 40,000 people. It's uncounted for. And nobody's asking where are they? That's the power they have to manipulate evil.
Yeah.
Right in front of your eyes. They can give you, they can tell you what you see. You see one thing, and they tell you see something else. And the next time when they go back and show that whole thing, notice for that second building get hit, you will see a big old helicopter.
Amen.
And if you look past that helicopter way in the back, I do not believe we have gone beyond the point of no return. I believe this boy can get by with filth 1,000 years. But there's a new energy. The reason I asked this brother to come up here, he started off this energy many years ago. He was talking at night. Say, bring them. So I leave you tonight, and I say to Brother Alton, of this organization, this is what they can't deal with. Keep it pure, no hidden agendas, light